going to be demonstrating a pre-trip on a 2024 International front engine conventional bus. That was the governor that just cut off. We're going to have 30 minutes to demonstrate what we need to do to obtain our Class B CDL. This is for the state of Ohio. If you live outside of the state of Ohio, please call your local test site and find out what your specific requirements are or the elements needed to pass the pre-trip portion of the exam in your state. So we're going to start, and we'll have, like I said, 30 minutes to complete the exam to show the examiner all of the things on the school bus that are required. And we're going to start inside with our service brake and our parking brake, all of our braking elements. So here we go. First off, we're going to test our parking brake. For the parking brake, in order to test it, you want to put the bus into drive with the parking brake set. We're going to push on the accelerator, and we can see that the parking brake is holding, no problems. Now we're going to move on to our service brake. We're going to release the parking brake, and we're going to put the bus continues in drive, and we'll move forward at about 5 miles an hour. And then we will push on the service brake. We want to make sure that the service brake, when depressed, will not pull to the left or to the right, and that we stop smoothly. Now we're going to leave this parking brake off. We'll put the gear back into neutral, and we'll turn the bus off, but back into accessory so all of our gauges illuminate. We want to make sure that for these next series of tests that we have at least 120 pounds of pressure. There was the governor cutoff. That means that that feature is working properly. On this bus, it cuts on at around 120 on this bus here. Now we're going to press the service brake in and hold it. After I push in the service brake, there's an initial drop. We will not lose more than 3 psi in a minute. You will ask the examiner at that point in time if they want to time it. If they want to time it, hold the service brake down until they have finished timing. If not, they will tell you to move on. Once they tell you to move on, you're going to fan the brake. Above 55, there will be a light and buzzer sounding. This bus goes on much closer to 60. Once our light and buzzer come on, we continue fanning the service brake until our parking brake pops, and it needs to happen between 20 and 40. This bus happens closer to 40, and we'll wait. There it is, and that was close to 40. Now we know that all of our emergency parking features are working properly, and we can move on. We will start the bus back up to build up that pressure, and I will once again point out that governor cutoff so you can hear what it looks like and see that it's coming on right around 120. Okay, in the meantime, I'm going to show you, while I'm waiting for these to build up, I'm going to show you the rest of my gauges. Okay, so we have our fuel tank, which has ample amount of fuel for this trip. We have our voltmeter, which is at between 14 and 16, and 12 and 14, and it's at 14, so that's fine. We have our oil gauge, and that is resting between 40 and 60. We have our temperature gauge, which will, when the bus is at ample temperature, it's going to be right around 190. And then of course we have our 2 air gauges, front and rear, and our fuel tank. And that was our DEF tank, So fuel tank, ample fuel, DEF tank, and there's plenty of that as well. Okay, now we're going to wait until we build that up to when the governor cuts off. It should be right around 120 to 125. In the meantime, I will continue showing you more features on the bus. We have our windshield wipers and washers. They are working properly. The windshield itself has no cuts or stickers or decals on it, and it's securely mounted, and there, I can see all the way to the back and the top of the first seat. Not this, but the first seat back. Okay. I have all my indicators. Left indicator, right indicator, high beam indicator, hazard light indicators. Okay, headlights are on. Again, there's high beam. Okay, let's see. There's the horn. Steering wheel 2 inches or 10 degrees, and I don't think we heard the cutoff quite yet. There was the governor cutoff. It just went off. That was right around 125. Okay, so we know that all of those features are functioning properly. We're going to continue looking at our gauges and fans, heaters, and defrosters. We have our amber warning lights, and here is the indicator right here. We have our override lights. The stop sign comes out. The indicator is here. The master switch is functioning properly. We have our noise reduction for railroad crossings. We have our heaters, top, and fans and defrosters, high, low, and off. Our strobe light I will put on, and you will see that it's functioning in a moment. We have our driver dome light, our passenger dome lights. Okay. Turn those off. And we have our lift door. So when because it's a special needs bus, we have a door lift, and you'll know that this is open when the door is actually open. Okay, here's the remainder of our heaters and fans and defrosters, and cool and warm. So, and here's our defroster, mirror defrosters. Okay, all of that. All right, so good there. Now I'm going to show you my emergency equipment. This is my seat belt. It functions clearly and properly. It latches securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. Okay. My visor is bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. All of my mirrors are bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. We have our emergency equipment up here. We have our first aid kit. It's got 24 dry box bandages, proof of insurance, and 3 emergency contacts. Our body fluid cleanup kit is fully stocked. We have 3 reflective triangles right here. We have our fire extinguisher. It's rated, dated, and charged. It's in the green, so we know it's charged. Okay, my seat is bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. The tread of the bus is bolted, it's screwed down, not lifted to cause a tripping hazard. Our seats, the frames are bolted and mounted securely to the floor, and the seats are attached securely and bolted, bolted and mounted securely to the frames. So we lift on each one to make sure that all of them are locked into place. I would do this all the way back to the back of the bus. Along the way, I'm going to check emergency windows. We want to make sure that the lights come on and the buzzer sounds. When we close it, it all goes off. We're going to check our roof hatches, and I'm going to show you the back one so we can see our strobe light. I would check all of the other emergency windows the same way that I checked the first one. So, okay, it's not going to be the easiest for me to do. Well, let's check the other one. Short girl problem number 3298. So we will check this one instead. Lights come on, buzzer sounds, opens freely. We are going to open it up to see if we can see our strobe light from here. And not so much, so we'll have to check that on the outside. Okay, I would check the other roof hatch the same way, or someone taller will check it the same way. And then I would check all of my seats backs on the way forward. Okay, all of them to make sure that they're bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. We're going to shut off the bus and go take a look on the outside. We'll take our keys with us and we'll go outside. Please make sure that you have at least one hand while you're walking off the bus. There's got to be 3 points of contact as you're getting off. It's an automatic failure if you don't. Also, your keys must be with you as well. Okay? We do not have to provide wheel chocks because we are on a closed course. So wheel chocks at the test sites in Ohio are not 100% necessary. Okay, but check again with your facility to see if wheel chocks are needed for where you are. Here we go. All of my mirror brackets are bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. Okay. I'm going to start with the top of the bus, our clearance lights, our warning lights, our amber clearance lights, our amber warning lights, our red loading lights, our amber side marker lights, our clear headlamps, high and low beam, our amber turn signals and hazard lights on the side are all the proper color. They're not cracked or broken, they're not loose or missing, and you'll see in a while that they're functioning properly. I can see that my bus is not leaning to the left or to the right, and that there are no puddles or obstructions or damage on the bus of any kind. We want to look for oil, coolant, transmission, windshield washer fluid. Those could all be leaks, fluid leaks that we could see. Okay, we're going to check on our hood latches. Okay. And the latch, kind of tough to do. Now let's take a look here. Our coolant reservoir is attached securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. You can see that it has an adequate amount of fluid in it. The cap is on tight, and there's no leaking. The hoses are all connected, not kinked or leaking. Same with our fluid washer container, bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. It is not leaking. We also have our shock absorber, bolted top and bottom, not cracked or broken, loose or missing, not leaking. We have our front and rear spring mounts attached securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. We got our torque leaf and our spring leaf, not shifted, cracked or broken, loose or missing, bolted and mounted securely. We have our U-bolts, bolted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. All good there. We have our brake chamber attached securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. We've got our push rod and our slack adjuster, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. And they are automatic slack adjusters, so we wouldn't tug on them. If you could, it wouldn't move more than an inch. They are not leaking. All the hoses are connected properly. This is an ABS line and brake line. They're attached securely, not kinked or leaking. This type of leaking would be more audible, so we want to make sure that we can't hear any noises coming out of here. Okay, we have our tie rod up front. Coming into here, we would remove the dust cover and make sure that our brake linings were not worn dangerously thin. Brake drums have no grease, oil, or debris. And let's see here. Okay, we want to look at our tire, the wheel here. The inside and outside of the tire have no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. There is no less than 2/32 tread evenly worn all the way across. Again, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. The rim of our tire has no welds other than factory. It's not cracked or broken, loose, or missing. Bolted and mounted securely. The lug nuts are all in place and tight. If one was overly tight, we might see a shiny pattern on the hub, or if it's loose, we might see a rust trail. So we don't want to see either of those. This is our hub oil seal. All the bolts are in place and tight. There is enough liquid fluid in here, as you can see in the sight glass. Okay, so that's all good. This is not leaking, or we might see a spray pattern. All of the bolts are in place and tight. This is our valve stem, straight, centered, has a metal cap, and if I were to check the tire pressure, I'd use a tire pressure gauge. Nothing here is leaking, the valve or tire. Okay. All right. Let's see. All of the hoses, lines, wires are connected properly, not cracked or broken, loose, or missing. None of them are leaking. And I think that's all we need over here. Okay, coming to the other side. Okay, we would check this side of the bus the same way we check the other side. In addition, we would check the oil. We would check the oil by pulling the dipstick out, wiping it off, reinserting it, and pulling it back out. It should read between add and full. Our transmission would be checked once a week with the engine running, and our power steering reservoir is right here. You can see that it's got an adequate level of fluid, but we can check it also with the dipstick. You would pull it out, wipe it off, reinsert it. It should read between add and full. Okay, we are going to take a look at our gearbox. Our gearbox is bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. We've got our pitman arm, our drag link. They are bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. All of the hoses are connected properly to the gearbox. Nothing is kinked or leaking. Okay, our tie rod is right there. Okay, and again, we would check this side of the bus the same as we did the other with regards to brake, suspension, and wheels. Okay, we're going to put this back up. Latch these little guys here. Here's our door. Our door, all the glass is connected properly. The seals are in place. They are attached securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. All the step tread on the stairs are not lifted to pose a tripping hazard. Our hand rails, grab rails, are bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. The step light, inside and out, you'll see later that it's functioning properly. It's the proper color of clear. Bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. We have our state sticker up to date, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. Our DEF tank, the cap, neck, and cage are bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing, and it's not leaking here or down here. All of our windows are in place, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. No damage to the side of the bus. The reflective tape and reflectors are in place. They are the proper color of amber. in front of the duals, and red, the reflectors after the duals. The turn signals, hazards, and clearance side markers are amber in color before the duals, red in color after the duals, and they're not cracked, they're not broken, loose, or missing. Okay, here we go. We would check the tires the same way. The difference back here is that we would make sure that there's nothing between the dual of the tires in back. We also want to check our airbags, and we'll come back here to take a look at our air bladders. We have top and bottom air mounts. They are bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. The airbags themselves are not cracked or broken, loose or missing, bolted and mounted securely, and not leaking. Okay, we also have our drive shaft. Here's our drive shaft right here, and our exhaust system right here, frame and cross members. They're all bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. The universal knuckles are not overly worn, and there are hangers, but the drive shaft itself is not leaning on the hangers, so everything is bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. And our exhaust system does not have any soot patterns that would indicate a hole, or any loud noises if we have the bus running. Checking for excessive noise. Okay. Our mud flaps up front and in back are bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. Here's our fuel tank. Cap is on tight. The neck and the cage are bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing, and there are no leaking going on here. Okay, here's our lift. Now, I'm not gonna be able to show you the lift at the moment until I get the keys back into the ignition and we start the bus up. Always want to make sure that you can latch this in place. You wouldn't want a strong gust of wind, or if you're in an elevation where it's going to swing the door, you don't want to get hit by the door or hit your passenger with the door. So always make sure that's latched properly. Okay, we're going to make sure that our lift functions properly. We're going to unfold it. And then we'll drop it down. So as we can see, it's functioning properly. The lift is going up and down. Always takes a little time. We want to make sure that it works before we leave. Okay, so our lift is functioning properly. It goes all the way down. And now we'll bring it back up. And as we can see that it's going up properly, so it's functioning the way it should be. Fold it back up. Close it up. All right, put this back in place. Release the door. All back together. Okay. And see, as you can see, the lights went off when the door is completely closed. All right, we're going to do the same in the back as we did in the front. We've got our red clearance lights, our amber warning lights, our red loading lights, our amber side red side markers. We've got our clear backup lights, our red brake lights, our red tail lights, our amber turn signals and hazards, our red reflective, and our amber reflective tape. They are all the proper color, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. Windows are good. Okay, the door, lights and buzzer sound, locks into place, seals are good. Everything shuts off when the door closes. Okay, you'll see in a moment that the lights are functioning properly. All right, we would to check this side of the bus the exact same way we check the other side of the bus. And if we feel like we missed something, we can also mention it on this side. You've got 30 minutes to complete it. Okay? All right. On this side, we would just mention anything that might be different about this side of the bus. And over here, we're going to make sure we check our stop arm. Our stop arm, as you saw earlier, was functioning properly. It's bolted and mounted securely with its copper color red lights, reflectors on and in place, bolted and mounted securely. We've got our battery box right here. 3 batteries, all connected properly, no excessive corrosion. This is our circuit breaker bus. There's no additional fuses. All right, at this time, I'm going to go back on the bus and make all of my lights function. I will turn the bus off, I will have my window open, and I will tell the tester what I am showing you at that time. I'll be right back. Headlamps. Left indicator. Right turn signal. Hazard lights. Clearance lights all the way around. Amber, warning lights. Red loading lights and stop sign. Left indicator side, clearance lights all the way around. Left indicator, right indicator, hazard lights, warning lights, loading lights, brake lights, tail lights. Side markers. Outside step light, inside step light are functioning properly. Okay. And the right turn signal was also functioning properly on the side. Okay, at this point in time, I'm going to take a moment to think of what I might have been missing. And I did misstate one thing, and I want to share that with you. The front tread on the tire is 4 32nds of an inch. In back, it's 2 32nds of an inch. So that's, we want to make a differential, that we want to correct. Okay, after that, I think I have completed my pre-trip, and I'm going to move on to maneuverability.